It is a fantasy to assume that Russia can in any way get Iran out of Syria, said a Western diplomat who asked to remain unnamed to speak candidly. The country's leaders have an investment to protect. After all, Iran has expended billions of dollars and hundreds, thousands of lives to secure its position in Syria. A separate European official, who also requested anonymity to frankly share their government's view, said the Americans found it easier to believe Moscow than do its U.S. partners. Iran is taking its own decisions. That's what we assess, the official added. Even as Russia and Iran have cooperated to support the regime of Syrian President Bashar Assad against rebels who once received Western support, the two powers have quietly cultivated distinct and strong positions in the country. Recent Israeli strikes on Iranian positions showed that Russian dominance is unlikely to fully address worries about the Islamic Republic despite Netanyahu's rhetoric. Even after secretive talks to slash the Iranian presence near Israeli borders, Israel has indicated its security is threatened by Iranian power further afield and has hit outposts in the east and the north. The escalation that we've seen in recent weeks between Israel and Iran suggests that the changes Russia would be able to deliver on Iran on the margins is no longer sufficient for Israel, the Western diplomat told HuffPost. Ali Akbar Velayati, a top aide to Iran's supreme leader, emphasized that assessment in a visit to Moscow this week, when he announced that Russia promised $50 billion in investment in Iran's oil and gas sector. Iranians and Russians will continue to stay in Syria to ensure terrorists can no longer be active in that country, Velayati said, echoing the joint Iranian-Russian narrative that the West was to blame for extremism in Syria because of its support to Syrian rebels fighting Assad. Ultimately, the Russians seem to be in no mood to address U.S. and Western fears about Syria's future stability as they help Assad achieve what they see as a final victory. Trump's team and Netanyahu say the question of Assad's continued rule is now less important to them than that of Iran's role in the country. But experts and U.S. allies warn that they must be part and parcel of the same conversation. The question is whether that path forward is designed realistically. Western concerns are that Moscow is not in the mood to compromise on anything, the diplomat continued. That is dangerous because ultimately we're not wrong with our prescription of how things might develop, and if Russia refuses to engage, we will be back here again in 6 months' time or 8 months' time. There'll be an uprising in the Syrian city of Hama. We'll be back in the same situation again with rebel forces trying to take control of certain parts of the country and the Assad regime using barrel bombs. And Trump's vision of getting out of Syria would then, of course, be even more of a pipe dream.